You know that feeling. You get a dodgy email, maybe a weird call,
Yeah.
and you picture some, I don't know, distant scammer somewhere far away.
Yeah, that classic image.
Well, today on the deep dive, we're going to unpack how that mental picture is changing
So,
fast. We're diving into this world where the threat isn't really distant or anonymous anymore. It's, well, it's much closer to home.
yeah.
The core idea we're exploring today is pretty unsettling, actually. The grift has come home.
And for this deep dive, we've been really getting into excerpts from The Grift Has Come Home on collapse, scams, and the graduating class of 2026 by Jaime Hoerricks, PhD.
Right.
And our mission really is to unpack how these, well, broken systems are driving this huge shift towards grift, especially for younger folks, and interestingly, the neurodivergent community.
The source kicks off with this anecdote that just it perfectly nails this shift. Honestly, kind of stopped me in my tracks.
Oh, yeah?
It starts with Chester Abbey. They're a neurodivergent-led charity doing really cool work. They salvage broken stuff, fix it up, and teach autistic people these vital skills: repair, resale, sustainability. Great stuff.
Sounds amazing.
But then they start getting hit with these petty little frauds. You know, low ball offers, weird vague questions, PayPal receipts that just felt off.
Uh-oh.
And here's the wild part. These weren't coming from overseas like you might expect.
Right.
They were coming from inside the United States for items worth, like, less than a cup of coffee.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. The irony, as the author points out, it's incredible. It really sets the stage.
It really does.
It makes you think about, well, how we used to understand scams. For decades, right, Americans had this very specific script.
The old script, yeah.
We were told, watch out for Nigerian princes, or, don't answer those weird calls from India.
Standard advice.
And pop culture really hammered this home. Scammers were always foreign imports. Their tactics were somehow morally inferior from these, quote, morally inferior places.
Right. Presented as these enemies of decency, like they just popped out of nowhere.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack that a bit.
Well, what's fascinating here when you dig into it is that this narrative just, it doesn't hold up.
How so?
These scammers didn't just emerge from nowhere. The source argues they emerged from collapse.
Collapse?
Yeah, think about it. Colonial economies often gutted the local infrastructure first.
Okay.
Then came neoliberal austerity, basically.
Right.
Less government spending, more privatization, often pushed by big players like the World Bank and IMF. This hit hard.
Right.
So young people in places like, say, Nigeria or India, they grew up facing massive unemployment, really tight restrictions on migration. And they often had this English language education that kind of ironically funneled all their ambition into dead ends.
I see.
So what did they see looking out at the West? They saw wealth, sure, but it was hoarded behind digital firewalls. They saw influencers promising escape routes and algorithms that seemed to reward deception. So, scams flourish. But it wasn't because it was like some cultural default. It was often the only sanctioned way out they could see.
Wow. That paints a very different picture. And now?
And now, exactly. Now it's happening here. That's the really crucial shift the source is highlighting.
But the difference is?
This time the scammers are American.
Yeah.
They talk like us, familiar accents.
They maybe studied with you, graduated with you.
Some probably still live with their parents,
Right. This isn't some far-off cartoon villain anymore.
No.
These are people you might recognize. They're the graduating class of, say, 2026.
That's the chilling part.
And this is where it gets really unsettling, right? What happens when the grift is coming from inside the house, so to speak?
That's precisely it. Because these young people, many of them did everything right,
Got the grades, went to college.
Exactly. They ticked all the boxes. But they're entering adulthood in this period of historic precarity, real instability.
It's a job market.
Oh, it's undeniably rigged in many ways. You see entry-level roles demanding like 3 years of experience. How does that even work?
And housing.
Forget about it. A one-bedroom flat is treated like some kind of investment vehicle, not, a basic place to live.
And student loans. I saw this bit.
Yeah, the system quietly got rid of in-school deferment for many loans. So millions are getting hit with interest the moment they enroll, not after they graduate. Now.
That's brutal.
And behind all this, the whole economy is shifting. It's moving away from making things towards surveillance, from care to capture.
Capture.
Yeah. So it raises this really important question. What happens to a whole generation when you tell them they have to be valuable, but then you offer them no dignified way to actually prove it?
Oh.
Some will inevitably turn to scams, right? Others will get scammed.
And most just
Hover.
Yeah, hover in that limbo state, that really uncomfortable middle ground where you feel like you could be the predator or the prey at any moment. God, that sounds exhausting. And one of the really chilling things the source highlights is something maybe a lot of us have bumped into without realizing.
What's that?
The ghost job scam.
Ah, yes, ghost jobs.
Companies posting jobs, openings, that they have absolutely zero intention of ever filling.
Right. Zero intention.
Why? Well, sometimes it's just to scrape applicant data. Sometimes it's to look good to investors like they're growing.
Or even just to keep their current overworked employees feeling replaceable, keep them anxious.
The job posting is real. You see it online.
But the job itself, nope, not real.
It's not like a traditional scam, right? It's institutionalized deception.
That's a good way to put it.
Like a scam wrapped up in a corporate handshake. Professional gaslighting almost.
Yeah.
On a huge scale.
Exactly. And these deceptions, they serve a core function. Extract value without any obligation.
Right.
Turn human labor, hopes, applications, turn it all into raw data.
And then just discard the human once you've got the data.
Precisely. This is what the source calls becoming data cattle.
Data cattle.
Oof. Everything you click, everything you share, type, upload. It just becomes fodder. Fodder for training AI, for tracking software, for predicting behavior.
So if you apply to enough of these ghost jobs,
your CV, your experience, your skills, it basically just becomes training data for someone else's algorithm. You're teaching the machine that might replace you or someone like you.
Wow. And the source talks about how devastating this is for autistic applicants in particular.
Yes, that's a crucial point.
Because they often tend to take things very literally, right? They prepare meticulously, they apply in good faith, assuming the job exists.
Absolutely. They invest a lot of time and energy.
And then just silence. Weeks of it. From jobs that were never real.
No rejection emails, nothing. Just digital ghosts vanishing.
It's heartbreaking.
And autistic people are tragically kind of prime targets for this data exploitation.
Why is that?
Well, the source suggests they might be more likely to interact directly with strangers online, perhaps seeking connection. Maybe more likely to share personal stories or struggles in public forums, looking for community.
Right, seeking belonging.
Exactly, in these digital spaces that promise understanding. And all of that interaction, all those shared experiences.
It becomes data.
Every bit of it. And ultimately, all of it is for sale.
Jeez. Okay, let's talk about the bigger picture here. This hollowed out landscape that the class of 2026 grew up in.
Yeah, it's bleak when you list it out.
I mean, think about it. School lockdowns, climate breakdown anxiety, book bans.
Roe v. Wade overturned, DEI initiatives getting gutted.
Healthcare getting priced out of reach for so many.
And now the collapse of those student loan protections that gave people at least a bit of breathing room.
It's just relentless. And what's left is this pressure, right? You have to market yourself like a product.
Constantly. On LinkedIn, TikTok, Etsy, wherever.
And you get punished if you don't do it well enough. It's exhausting.
So, given all that, the source basically lays out 3 really difficult options for this generation.
Okay, what are they?
Option 1. Become a scammer. Engage in what the source calls the soft grift.
Soft grift.
Yeah, the more subtle stuff, often digital, like monetizing someone else's hope with generic templates or those get-rich-quick tricks.
AI-generated sales pages selling a lifestyle.
That you absolutely cannot afford yourself. That's the key. That's option 1.
Okay, option 2.
Get scammed. Keep chasing those ghost jobs. Maybe invest in courses that promise the moon.
Click on those emails because you still maybe admirably actually believe in people.
Exactly. You maintain your faith and you get burned.
And the third option.
Hover in between. Just try to do the right thing, find some work, survive.
But always wondering.
Yeah, always wondering, was that affiliate link I just shared? Was that technically exploitative? Am I part of the problem now?
God.
This whole scam economy, it doesn't just breed outright fraud. It breeds moral fatigue.
Right.
It breeds decision paralysis. Like, you're too scared to do anything wrong, so you do nothing.
And cynicism.
And this very specific kind of cynicism. The kind that looks polished, maybe has that Canva aesthetic on social media, but underneath it's just deep disillusionment.
Wow. And for autistic people specifically, this whole landscape isn't just confusing, it's actively dangerous.
Profoundly dangerous.
Because as we said, Maybe more likely to trust strangers, maybe less able to pick up on manipulation cues.
Systematically excluded from stable employment far too often.
And just left unprotected by the platforms and, frankly, the justice system.
Right.
So how does the source explain this targeting? Especially when it's not the old script scammers, not outsiders.
Well, this is the really profoundly unsettling part. They're being targeted, we're being targeted not by outsiders, but by our peers.
Our peers.
Yeah. It's fellow Americans, often people from the same generation. They're the ones spoofing the PayPal emails now, mining Facebook marketplace listings, pushing those boundaries.
Why?
The source argues it's not because they hate us necessarily, it's because they're drowning too. We're not being scammed by monsters in this view. We're being scammed by the system's other casualties.
And that's somehow worse.
It feels worse, doesn't it? You see it everywhere. These little examples.
Like what?
Like, maybe a neurodivergent life coach pops up, no real training, charging $100 an hour to tell autistic teens how to mask better.
Oh, God.
Or a wellness guru selling trauma protocols they literally just copied and pasted from Reddit.
Whoa.
Or like a freelance contractor undercutting another disabled worker because the platform's algorithm basically forced them into a race to the bottom.
Right.
It's all survival work, in a way. But it all leaves someone else behind. It pits victims against each other.
Okay, so in the middle of all this,
Yeah.
places like Towchester Abbey.
Exactly. They really stand out. They feel like these small acts of rebellion.
Because they don't sell hope or, manufacture influence online?
No. They repair what's broken. They repurpose what society dismisses.
And they teach autistic people to value their own way of doing things, their own patterns, rhythms, timelines.
It's a fundamental act of care, really, in a world that's pushing extraction.
But that very resistance.
Ironically, yeah, it makes them a target. Grifters, especially this new domestic kind, they smell vulnerability.
Like sharks smell blood, yeah.
But it's not just financial vulnerability anymore. It's like ideological vulnerability they sniff out.
Meaning?
Hope, sincerity, integrity. Anything that still tries to build something real when the whole world seems to be teaching extraction and disposal.
They target the goodness.
In a way, yeah. Because it stands out. It's not playing the game.
So, bringing it back to that first anecdote. When someone tries to scam Towchester Abbey for a $25 repaired suit.
It's not just a petty theft, is it?
No. The source frames it as a symptom. A really clear sign that the grift hasn't just come home.
It's rooting itself deep down in the bones of everyday life.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, it's clear we've seen this huge shift, right? In how scams work, who's doing them.
Definitely. Moving away from that foreign threat idea.
To seeing it as a domestic symptom, a symptom of systemic collapse, really.
Yeah, and hitting the graduating class of 2026 and the neurodivergent community in these really disturbing ways.
It's easy to feel pretty bleak about it all.
It is. It's easy to fall into despair, to think, okay, collapse is total, the scammers won. The source suggests that's not quite the whole story. Not yet, anyway.
Okay.
Because while the grift spreads, something else is spreading too.
What's that?
Clarity. People are actually learning to spot the patterns. They're starting to name these soft scams.
Ah, putting words to it.
Exactly. And they're building the things that grifters can't really monetize. Trust, reciprocity, actual kinship, community.
That's hopeful. And the source has this line, in a world where everything is treated like a grift.
Choosing not to grift back.
That's a radical act.
It really is. Look, the graduating class of 2026, they deserve more than just moral exhaustion. They deserve actual alternatives.
Yeah. Solidarity.
Solidarity, exactly. And futures where you don't need deception just to get food or housing or feel like you have worth.
So the invitation from the source.
Yeah, it's powerful. It basically says, if you're one of them, or really one of us caught in this, the invitation stands, come help us build what the grifters can't even see.